Hello everybody, I'm John with JP Strategic Investments, and today I'm going to go over a recent tweet from Patriot One Technologies that could be alluding to a pretty huge opportunity for Patriot One. As always, if you find videos like this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and with that out of the way, let's dive right in. So just earlier today, Patriot One tweeted about an upcoming webinar with NCS4, and they attached a tweet here from NCS4. So if we take a look at that, we can see that the webinar is specifically for patron screening and weapons detection considerations. Obviously, exactly what Patriot One specializes in. So the two other speakers, other than Peter Evans, are Jim Mercurio, Executive Vice President and General Manager of 49ers Stadium Management Company, and Christian Lau, Chief Technology Officer for the Los Angeles Football Club. So two basically high-up people related to stadium security. And if you remember from Patriot One's recent shareholder letter, right? This is the letter that Peter Evans recently released. If we go down to the section about the demonstration day in Las Vegas, he says that these demo day activities have led to requests for pilots at 3 pro sports arenas and a major global entertainment and casino organization. Well, it's pretty easy to make the inference that these could potentially be 2 of those stadiums. Now, that might not be the case, as you'll see in a second when we get into this. So if we take a look at NCS4's website here, we see that NCS4 stands for the National Center for Spectator Sports Safety and Security. So this is a company that is specifically in the field of sports safety and actually even other entertainment industries, as you'll see in a second. So if we go to the About section, this is where it starts to get really interesting and you can start to see how huge of an opportunity this could be for Patriot One. So this is their National Advisory Board. This is a board that's going to be advising sports stadiums and entertainment venues and basically a variety of buildings and venues and different things like that on their security, what strategies they can use, their personnel training, and what products they could use to help them out, like Patriot One. So right off the bat here, we have some big names. Director of Worldwide Public Safety at Microsoft. We also have the Deputy Director of the Department of Homeland Security, the Vice President, Security, Parks and Resorts International, the Walt Disney Company. So huge companies, right, that we're looking at here, plus the Department of Homeland Security. We have the FBI down here. Several other companies, another Walt Disney, right? Walt Disney World. We also have Jim Mercurio in here, right? So, tons of different representation from large security, not only government agencies, but private companies, entertainment companies, entertainment arenas, as you saw with the 49ers. So big opportunities here, right? I mean, if Patriot One can get their foot in the door with this organization, that could be pretty huge because it's opening the door to all these other opportunities. And it gets even better if you go over here into the advisory section. This is specific committees depending on the level here. So we have professional, intercollegiate. You can see in the professional one, we have representation from pretty much every major sports league. We also have 2 FBI representatives here, but you see like the New York Yankees, New York Mets. We also have MLS right here, the Major League Soccer. We also have, again, San Francisco 49ers, New York Giants, Houston Astros. We got some hockey in here. Where was it? Detroit Red Wings right there, right? Detroit Tigers as well. NASCAR is even in here. So you have representation from tons of different sports, professional sports organizations. And this is another advisory committee that is advising not only obviously their own stadiums, their own organizations, but other organizations on how they can improve their security, right? And if Patriot One can prove to these people that they offer a better security solution than what these organizations currently have, that is a huge opportunity. You can see here, we go down to intercollegiate. We obviously have the NCAA. You can see we have tons of major universities here, right? Duke University, we have Baylor, we have USC, right? Boise State, Notre Dame is in here, right there. Huge universities with big followings, right? Big opportunities here as well. We also have interscholastic, so this is like your high schools or secondary schools, as well as kind of some intramural stuff. So you can see here we have the Maryville Police Department. If you guys didn't know, actually, departments like the police department, the fire department, sheriff's department, different things like that, they actually have intramural leagues between each other, and they get pretty competitive. And it's a big thing for them. And so not only getting into these high schools, but also those sports as well. Then we have marathon and endurance events. And I will say I'm not huge into marathons and stuff like that. But, I recognize Tough Mudder and some other ones on here. These are big events, right? The Disney Marathon. I have some friends that have done that. And then we get into just entertainment facilities in general. Obviously, Walt Disney Company, Hollywood in here. These are big. The Rose Bowl, Gila River. That's where the Arizona Coyotes play. These are big entertainment facilities, guys. And then we also have the COVID-19 task force. Now, this is probably COVID-19. While Patriot One does have some products that work really well for that, I don't think it's going to be a huge long-term opportunity for them. A lot of businesses probably kind of just want to get back to what they were doing. COVID-19 may be good for, a year or two, but eventually I don't see that being a huge opportunity for them. But these other ones, guys, these are really big opportunities. Even here, you have the co-chair of the National Football League, right? Co-chair of the NFL. Again, if Patriot One can get in the door with NCS4, it's almost like signing a state, right? You sign the state and you then get access to all the government buildings in that state, maybe even all the school districts, things like that, right? This is the same thing, right? They get their foot in the door with this organization that advises all these other organizations on their security. You open up the door to all of those opportunities. Now, obviously, we always hear about opportunity with Patriot One. We do need some revenue, and I've talked about that before, but I thought it would be important just to show you guys what this opportunity really meant, because I don't think, this tweet from Patriot One here, I think this was very subtle. This doesn't really convey the opportunity that, things like this are conveying, right? This is huge. And I will say this isn't going to be like an overnight thing. You look at their research and lab section. If we go over here to their operational research and evaluation, you can see that for projects that include an experiment, the operational deployment, real world or simulated, of the product at a predetermined location for a sufficient amount of time. I think this is the big thing, right? A sufficient amount of time to allocate the necessary data and analysis in place. The analysis is put in place. So this, we don't really know what a sufficient amount of time means, right? That could be different for every product. So this potentially, a sufficient amount of time could be a sports season, right? So this is something that could potentially take several months to really put together, right? But again, it's worth it because the opportunity that this allows them to have, as I've said before, it's huge. So I do want to caution people, though, this isn't going to be an overnight thing. This isn't even probably going to be a thing that will affect them in this quarter, or maybe even not even until 2 quarters from now or 3 quarters from now, that you'll really start to see this pay dividends. But if they do go about this carefully, which it looks like they're doing, obviously, if NCS4 is having Patriot One, is having Peter Evans speak at a webinar, they're pretty interested in Patriot One's products if that's the case, right? So I think really they've already got their foot in the door with this company. They just need to nail those pilots, and this could be really big. So that's kind of mainly what I wanted to cover. Obviously, the stock was down today, but I don't think it's necessarily surprising that the stock didn't react too much to this. One, you have most of the investors in this stock are retail investors, right? And so a lot of people are probably working. A lot of people may not have seen this yet. And if they did, they probably didn't see it maybe until they were off work and until they were on their lunch break. They're not just going to go on a whim without checking this out, right, and just go buy the stock. I will say myself, I did buy a little bit more today. Now Patriot One makes up about 12 or 13% of my portfolio. So I thought it was an opportunity. The stock was down today. I think this, is going to be really huge for them. These names that are on here are really exciting. So we'll see how it goes. Again, the webinar isn't until May 13th. So we have a couple, 2.5 weeks to go before we get to see what this is really all about. But again, from what I can see on NCS4's website, what I'm looking at here, and then also combining that with what we have here in the shareholder letter, I think this bodes really well for Patriot One. Again, still want to see some revenue, but I do think that this is a potentially huge opportunity for them. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, don't forget to leave me a comment if you have any questions or if you have any other points on this that you think people should be aware of. Other than that, see you guys next time. Have a great day.